to understand how late at night this is that these spoilers drop to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in my dressing gown already. It's like 5 in the morning already as of this video, and you know what? That just shows how much I love you guys, because even when I'm at the verge of passing my fat ass out, I still want to talk about some Fairy Tail with you guys.
Well, that and I like Fairy Tail a lot, but besides the point!
Let's begin this Fairy Tail spoilers. Are they gone? Have all the people that wanted to hear about this like spoilers, like the ones that I was afraid of being spoiled, are they gone? I can't believe this. This might be the first time in an entire week of talking about spoilers. I might not be called out on something. Nah, that's going to happen anyway. We know that. So, it's time to begin the Fairy Tail spoilers, and you guys already know. Don't want to be here. And the first one that we're going to be talking about, and you guys that are being spoiled can't be spoiled on this, is that the cover page of the next chapter of Fairy Tail. Now, nothing much can be said about this too much, apart from Natsu going, fuck yeah, I'm on the moon, on the earth, like, woo! Like, so, it seems like, I'm guessing that's just a cover of them saying, yo, we's at the Celestial Spirit World, or bitch. And I guess one thing I think there are a lot of people that are concerned saying, hey, the Scar is staying and everything like that. It seems like it's pretty much 100% confirmed now that the Scar is staying, just mainly because we've been seeing like Natsu in a couple of cover pages already with the Scar, so I'm guessing that this is the situation where it's like, oh, he's finally here with it. I'm like, this is what Natsu should have came back with in the time skip anyway, and that really badass hair that he had, but... You know, every time Fairy Tail gives us something, I feel like there needs to be a shoot in the kneecap as well. But besides the point, it's an okay to like color parts. And then the only chapter that we've actually even got, a picture to talk about is one of them. Like, that, yes, exactly, this one is going on just completely based on one picture that we've got that has some text as well. And the picture tells us more than enough than what we need to know about exactly what the chapter's going to be. And oh boy, it's going to be one of those Erza chapters. So we get to see Erza, she's tied up, beaten up, bloodied as hell, and she has an undying, like, her will is undying at this point. She's, like, definitely seeing, like, she's tied up, so I'm guessing this is the same situation what happened with, like, Kyokyo from Tartarus, so I'm guessing Tartarus might, like, piled her up or something like that, and, like, all of Neinheart, like, and all his crew and all that, you get to see from what we saw, like, you can, and just to say this as well, for the spoilers, I would like to clarify with the whole Ikaruga thing that happened last week's chapter. Now, here's the thing about this. There was some anime differences between Ikaruga and what happened with her entire guild as well, since there were some weird situations that happened about this. Death's Head Caucus actually did die, apparently, during that entire explosion, although there was a change between the anime and the manga situation of this. I was going back on the material that was being involved in Volume 11 and 12, and pretty much everything that was involving the Tower of Heaven arc, and the Tower of Heaven arc does end on Volume 12 exactly. And I've got to say, after rereading it and everything, you not all, especially when you see like a Theocon like it all blow up and everything, you don't see the tower all. Thing is though, when you see with the Tower of Heaven completely like exploding, this is the thing about it. We didn't see Ikaruga die alongside the others. The only thing that closest that we got to information about Ikaruga is exactly this panel in general, is when Erza took her down, and there was blood everywhere, which I'll get the actual page that was like here in the manga. If you can clearly see, is that there was a slash. Erza took one to the chest, but also as well Ikaruga seemed to take one to the chest as well. Whether or not that's enough really to take it down, since we've seen Fairy Tail characters take a lot of things, and this is the only real kind of like possible one out of them all like to be actually being taken down, because if I remember Vilius, like Taka, like I believe he just got beaten up by Juvia and Lucy. Although though with Fukuro, if I remember correctly, that it was Gray, that he like cut him up by using like the Ice Blade dance, I believe it was, and then he was able to spit out Natsu in the process, and like I said and all that, we don't see in the like manga like how they escape exactly, although in the anime you do see them escape. So either way, like we do know that at this point Ikaruga has died, in fact, or there could be some, like, it would be really cool if it was revelations like, no, I just came here by random, but it's like obviously from like the way Neinheart reacted, then no, like she's clearly dead. So yeah, it's still up in the air right now. I think we're gonna need Neinheart to explain everything, I believe, like until we get full confirmation, but until then I am going to go with everyone saying that yeah, she did indeed die alongside Fukuro, and also as well with Taka. feel like there might be something more to the story, but I feel like it's still a little bit shitty that she just kind of like died just like that and there wasn't like kind of any impact on her. Mind you, she was just only a villain for that arc, so I know a lot of people didn't really care for her too much, but I generally thought that she was a badass bitch. So this might be like the whole thing about this chapter, especially is like Erza coming to front saying, I'm probably not the weak person that you met last time, and I feel this is where we're going to get another because she's Erza moments now. I know a lot of people were raging about that, saying like, oh, why'd you like say that, like, and like, come on, like, you know, Erza's had good fights and stuff. Like, Erza has had good fights in the past. I feel like when she went against all the monsters, that was kind of cool. I'm not that, like, I don't mind the Kagura and also the Minerva fight that much. I don't think it's the best that she's had, but I'm like, where people were kind of like complaining about the Nakagami armor, that's the one where I was like, I'm not too, like, you know, a big fan of that one, but especially when it went into Tartarus and then any other fight that she's been in since then, I haven't really cared as much because it's just been so fucking one-sided. After even being released from torture, she just completely pierced Kyoka for a fucking, like, entire guild. And although she tried to get a couple one-ups, even when she was completely lost of her senses, she still overcame it, and it was just like, that's just how Erza is as a character, and it's just like, out of all the characters, I don't get as much excited for Erza fights anymore, that's just me. Although, like I said, what's really holding up this fight for me and why I'm still excited for it is because we've got Jalal and Kagura in it, and I love those characters. I wish though if like Ikaruga came back and she was a good guy and actually came back and was the one here instead backing up Erza, that would have been cool. Or even if three of them were there, like you have Kagura as well, but maybe Ikaruga like turned back and maybe she went into Kagura's guild. That could have been a nice little, like, it's a fan theory really though, like kind of like fan fiction in the end, but it's like that would have been a real cool like situation if that was like two badass sword bitches and all that, like running their own guild. That'd be pretty cool. And still, I'm still putting on to that Erza is in fact maybe might win this chapter just by that, or even still she's gonna like deal a massive blow to Neinheart. And like I've said many times before, Neinheart does not look like a character that can really take a hit. Even if that's the case, even if she doesn't beat Neinheart, I can see her definitely beating up Ikaruga, Kyoka, and Azuma. I can see her probably beating up in the chapter, but then again, we only have a single page of the chapter to go on, and yet, like, I feel like, especially with something like this, you could have so many thoughts, you could have so many things going through your mind, and this is especially it, because it's like, not most of the time you'd be like, oh, it's just a picture of Erza, like, in pain, like, you know, well, but, like, then it's like, when I'm thinking of, like, Erza and everything that's going on, it's like, no, this could happen, or that, or, ooh, it makes my mind go a little bit frazzled, because, like, if it was a badass picture of Jalal, I wouldn't have talked about this chapter. I'd be like, oh, it's a fucking badass picture of Jalal. You know, here we go. Yeah, they leave some doubts here, but yeah, exactly, like, the fact that we managed to talk about these, like, a single page about that much shows I'm pretty concerned. I don't know how I'm going to feel, though, about Monday's chapter, though, so I'm going to feel probably a bit weird about it. So don't be surprised if there's some bullshit in it, so I'm just warning you there in case there's some, like, another It's Erza moment, but also as well be careful, because I probably won't like the chapter, like, if it's coming from that, like, because it's, like, already I've got this, like, early impression that I'm not gonna like it, but then as well, this is being very unfair as not even the whole material's out, there's just a single page, and it could just be Erza saying, go fuck yourself, I'm ready to go down, and she could be having a right mashup with the characters, and it could happen next week. This is just going by fairy tale fight logic though, since like they're always very short. They're normally about like 2 to 3 chapters, maybe 4 if you're stretching it a bit. Current fairy tale fights don't really last that long, and like compared to like how other fights in other shonen series, they normally like either get dragged on for months and months, or they normally last about a month to a bit. Let me know what you think about the chapter. Spoilers down below. Are you excited for this chapter? Are you concerned as much as I am? What do you think is going to be happening? Do you think Erza will have another badass moment like this? I'm sorry guys, like Tower of the Heavens is like one of my favourite arcs, so I have to give it massive respects. It's like, definitely I would still put it up there, although I think there's better written arcs in the series, it's still one of my favourites, and I will always go back to reading this anytime I have a chance, especially as well rewatching the anime of this. If you love fairy tale as much as I do, then you know where to like and you know where to subscribe. I've been Savagezweipanda, and I'll see you guys next time.